Before Candace Maxwell started her acting career, she worked extensively as a dancer on stage, film, and Broadway, having been a backup dancer for hip-hop icons Beyonce, Lil Kim, and P. Diddy. Well, her skills landed her dance segments on major TV shows and catapulted her to Broadway, where she was cast in Holler, If You Hear Me. Now she's Tyler Perry's new leading lady, and Candace Maxwell became his go-to actor of choice after casting her in his hit BET Plus series, All the Queen's Men, which was just renewed for season 2, and she stars in his latest Netflix film, Tyler Perry's A Madea Homecoming, as Candace stars as Medea's granddaughter Ellie, which premieres on Netflix on February 25th. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the dancer, the movie star, the beautiful Candace Maxwell. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Thank you. What an introduction. I've never gotten one of those before, so thank you.
You're very welcome. Well, I had to do a little digging here, and I want to know right off the bat, what was your first love, dancing or acting?
Dancing. It's music. Like I grew up around a lot of music, immigrant parents, Caribbean, very expressive in music. So dancing was just a natural part of my life, honestly.
So how did you actually get into dancing, and especially on the big stage with such incredible iconic stars?
Honestly, it started young. It started at the YMCA in Jamaica, Queens. I took my first ballet class around 5 years old, and that was it ever since. I put on a sparkly costume and I was like, this has got to be my life. And I would go home, record music videos, learn them in my living room. So it's just something that has naturally been a part of my life. And I trained at a ton of different schools at Ellie, I went to performing arts high school, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I got an agent. I started auditioning, and it was immediate. I just think it was just like there's nothing I could do but do that, if that makes any sense.
Well, what was it like getting being a backup dancer for people like Beyonce and Little Kim and P. Diddy? I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, was it scary?
Yeah, as a young girl, I'm remembering like 2021, how intimidating it could be to be in a space with somebody who has so much fame, so much status, and people know them and look up to them, and you seeing them in their more of their private time in rehearsals and on the tour bus. So you get to see them as real people, and you see the hard work that is associated with making it in any industry, but particularly entertainment. And I think some you learn a lot from that. A lot rubs off on you, but also that presence. You build your own sense of confidence having to hold a stage behind these big names. So that definitely taught me a lot.
Well, how tough is an audition process? Because you probably went up against people who probably had, what, 10 years more experience than you possibly?
Oh yeah, tons of people who had more experience and more training, but I believe I always just had the confidence and the like I truly enjoy performing, so I always looked at an audition as another chance to get to perform and to win these people over. That's how I always looked at it. I was like, well, I'm gonna do my thing and hopefully it wins you over, like I don't know. Queens girls are really sassy. So growing up, I was just kind of like, oh, I can do it too, girl. Like we had that thing back then. So I just brought it into the workplace. Was that I can do it kind of attitude.
Well, I'm looking at some of your background, and I mean, and let's look at the dancer part because we know Beyonce can dance too. So,
Ooh.
what was it like to having to be step to step with her, and I bet she's a perfectionist as well.
Yeah, believe it or not, I only did one job with Queen Bee. It was one job, but it was an intense job. It was the VMA Vanguard Award when she won that big award, and we did a whole big production. And the rehearsals were intense. There were like three choreographers on the project, a room full of girls. We were at Steiner Studio in Brooklyn at this huge stage learning it, and we would rehearse 12 plus hours a day for like a week. 2 weeks straight for one performance. So you learn a lot about process and perfecting something and repetition and doing it over and over and just having a strong eye for what you want and what you don't want
Well,
and
how
teamwork. There's a lot of teamwork involved in that, so let's not forget that there is teamwork involved. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely when there's multiple dancers. And for you, how did your dancing career actually translate into acting?
You know, the adaptability and the understanding of emotions, because dancers, all we do is we emote the music, we emote a feeling, and we with the music, with musicality. So it's the same thing. Now I just do it with lines and with words. It's storytelling at its finest. So whether you're a musician, a painter, a fashion designer, you're telling stories. That's all we really are doing in entertainment is creating stories for people to observe and to experience. So that's what I did as a dancer, and that's the same thing that I want to bring into my acting.
You know, I can really see that because I've watched some of the dance shows on television, and I guess I've never really thought about it until you brought it up. You know, there's a certain sense of attitude that you have to bring. I guess attitude and emotion when it comes to dancing, and I can see where that does translate into acting.
Yeah, storyline, costumes, colors, tones. Same thing goes into film, colors, tones, images. So that's all it really is, emotion.
Well, how did you get connected with Tyler Perry?
Mm, such a good story. A very full circle story. So years ago, I did a play in Atlanta with Mark E. Swinton, who is one of the head producers at Tyler Perry Studios. Was a dancer in the play. It was a wonderful play. Then 2020 came around. Later on into the year, I auditioned for All the Queen's Men. It was a beautiful self tape because we know everything is now in this tape world that we live in. So I did a tape for the role of DJ Dime for All the Queen's Men, sent it in, and like 2 days later, I got an offer and my jaw was on the floor. So my life changed very quickly. Was on the plane to Atlanta on a private jet to Atlanta that Mr. Perry chartered for the cast, brought us straight to the studio. We lived in a bubble and we filmed. And then this project, A Medea Homecoming, Ellie was a gift from the studio. I got a call one day and they said, "Hey, Candace, we would like to offer you the role of Ellie to play Medea's granddaughter." And my heart dropped. I cried. I called my mom. I was screaming. I was dancing, and it happened. So it was a gift, and I believe that's just from the hard work that I showed as Dime. It was a gift, but one that I have to land the plane. You know.
Well, you know, I think what is so cool is that means you didn't even have to audition for the movie role. They saw your
Didn't
work from
audition.
All the Queen's Men, correct?
Yes, sir.
You know, I watched the trailer for All the Queen's Men, and what an intense drama series that is. So, what was your first? Yeah, I mean, what was your first thought of being cast in a drama series based on male exotic dancers?
After the initial excitement, I was really nervous. I didn't know if I could do it. Dime is a completely different person. She lives in a completely different world than I live in. And I was like, well, this is a huge test for me as an actress. Can I do this? Can I embody this woman who grew up in Atlanta, who lives in this kind of gritty world with these interesting characters? Can I pull up to the plate? And I did all my work. I did the best I could. I did everything my teachers taught me in school. I did my own thing. I showed up and it happened and we created magic. And I really love that cast forever from the bottom of my heart because what we created was something that I'm so proud of.
You
So
know,
if you
it's
haven't streamed it yet, it's on BET Plus right now.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from Candace. BET Plus, and I have to say, Candace, when you know, I got this mafia esque feeling of watching All the Queen's Men because I didn't expect it to be like that, and
Yeah.
but it is. I mean, it is every sense of the word drama. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like drama, this is the
Hmm.
show for you. And
Yep.
I mean, it's just really. I'm not calling it dark. I mean, it is a strong cast. It is
Hmm.
a strong plot. And how exciting was it to have to get picked up for season two?
Oh, so exciting. We just wrapped that earlier this month. And again, I think the audience is going to be really surprised. We took it up another level, like more explosions, more drama, more skin, more storylines, and then also more relatability. You're going to get to know these characters on a deeper level. The fashion pieces that our wardrobe head Rihanna put together, and it's like the hair, like we really, as a collective, just took it and we elevated it for season 2. So it's gonna be so fun. And you know what's funny? In my mind, I always look at our show as like The Sopranos, but like female. Like you said, it gives you that mafia feel.
Mhm.
I too see that, and you're gonna see more of that in season 2. You're gonna say, "Oh, I see this mafia family."
Yeah, when I saw the
Yeah.
scene where she literally punched a girl in the nose on the dance floor, I was kind of laughing about that, and I'm like, "Whoa, I don't want to be messing with that woman. She's
Oh,
tough."
madam?
Oh my,
Oh, don't.
yes, no, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
Eva
just
Marcel is classic in that role. Thank you, Eva. Like Eva the diva, we love you.
So ladies and gentlemen, BET Plus for all the Queen's Men, and Candace Maxwell definitely has a stellar performance in that series. And you know what the cool thing about this Candace is that when you get a season 2, I love the fact that now you get the backstory, the deeper backstory of all of the characters, which is why I love it when I see a series become successful. Now we get to know who the characters really are.
Yeah, you will. The audience will really get to see some twists and turns. So again, it's nuanced, and it's just one of those shows. It's so binge worthy. You start, you're like, what is this? And then you're like, wait, there's a cliffhanger, and it's nonstop. So we're just gonna continue taking you on that journey in season 2.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. When working with Tyler Perry on the set of A Medea Homecoming, how hard is it to keep a straight face and not bust out laughing when he's doing his part?
I was laughing the entire film. To be honest, we filmed in June, like early June in Atlanta. The vibes were so amazing on set. Everybody was just ready to work hard and play. And I think that's like when we finished wrapping that was summertime for everybody at the studio. So we just had a blast on that film. Tyler had us cracking up, whether he was in the wig or whether he was Uncle Joe. It was great times.
Well, how many takes do you have? I mean, because I can't imagine how funny it is to be on set when Tyler Perry's doing Medea. I mean, how many takes does it take, or does he just let the camera roll nonstop and then just take it into the editing room after that?
Yep. Tyler's favorite words. You ready? We'll fix it in post. He
I
said that so many times. You can quote me. Hi, Tyler. I hope you see this. We can fix it in post.
See, I love that because even when we have something happen here, we're like, "Oh, we can do an edit point, no problem."
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but Candace, I have talked with other actors who have worked with Tyler Perry. So, how does his work ethic on set make you a better actor?
Wow. That's a great question. His work ethic is phenomenal. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. He knows how to multitask, he knows how to delegate, he knows how to run an empire. So me as an actress learning that, I go, wow, I run Candace Maxwell. I run everything I do, and it's given me a new ownership over myself, over my career, and over what I want to do with my life. And also, just he's so efficient and he makes things work, but he also creates a good team. So I'm learning the importance of all of those things. And also, we film so much in such a short amount of time. Like, I don't know if I can tell you this, but I'm going to say it. We filmed this movie in 7 days. The entire Medea Homecoming was filmed in 7 days. And watching him work so fast and so efficiently with multiple cameras and everybody going, I'm like, oh, wow, I can do anything. I think any other project I do from here on out is going to have a different set of challenges, but it's going to move so seamlessly because I'm used to moving at a really fast pace.
I have heard from others who have worked with Tyler that you can go through as much as 100 pages in a day. Isn't that
Yeah,
correct?
easy. Easy.
Easy.
Like calm, like that's what we do.
It is. I think that Tyler Perry is probably one of the most efficient directors and producers when it comes to film. He knows how to take a budget. He knows how to squeeze that time out just perfectly. And it's funny because you said Madea was filmed in 7 days. I heard Boo 2 was filmed in as little as 5 days, doing the same exact work ethic. But hey, it comes out looking like a masterpiece.
Yep, it's the Tyler way. Everybody, we talk about Scorsese has a style, and Quentin Tarantino has a style. Tyler Perry has a style, and when you come to the studio, you learn and you see how he works, and you're like, oh, this is a style. So you just learn a director the same way you'd learn another choreographer, the same way you'd learn another boss. So I love his method. I appreciated, and it has built a wonderful franchise, a wonderful studio, and a wonderful legacy. And I'm so proud to be a part of the Medea legacy.
Well, that is so amazing, Candace. And I want to ask you a question here because I noticed that you are also an advocate for underprivileged youth and you work with young teenage girls who were victims of sex trafficking. What led you to help them?
So I met a friend of mine. Her name is AJ Arias, and she decided to, she was working in corporate and all this good stuff. And I met her through a friend at a spiritual retreat that I went to. So I met her there, and the spiritual retreat's all about just how you can bring through your life, bring goodness into the world and positivity. So that is what AJ wants to do with her life, is to open up Applejacks Branch. So it's in formation right now, which is where we're going to have young girls who've dealt with any sex trafficking, victimization, or went through that, and they're going to come to this place in rehab. They're going to work with horses, they're going to do one-on-one therapy. It's a safe place for them to come, to stay, to rehab, and to give them life skills so they can get back on their feet and get back to life. So
Wow.
tangible things that these girls can do. So not only internal healing, but how are you going to survive and take care of yourself in this world?
I love that type of work that you are doing. It is so needed today. I know that, so many people are trying to get the message out of human trafficking, sex trafficking, and some people believe that it doesn't exist, but it actually does. And Candace, it's people like you that are bringing a better life to so many of those young girls. And I want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, tune in to BET Plus for All the Queen's Men and get ready to laugh like you've never laughed before with Tyler Perry's A Madea Homecoming, A Medea's Homecoming, starring the multi-talented Candace Maxwell on Netflix, February 25th. Hey, and stick around because we'll be right back after these messages.